is able to, quote, adopt reasonable rules and is in line with the mission of supporting student athletes. President Mark Emmert added the NCAA is committed to working with Congress to chart a path forward. Joining us now to break this down and what it means going forward is Timothy Burke, founder of Burke Communications and worked as a very popular sports writer. Timothy, what changes now? Was this a tremor? Was this an earthquake in the sports world?
I don't really think so, because the reality is that we've seen this coming for a really long time. States across the country have been passing their own legislation with regards to name and likeness rights. Congress has been going back and forth trying to figure a way out to do it at a national level. Even the NCAA has been aware that something like this was probably going to happen. Their arguments that they tried to carry on in this Alston case throughout every level of the judicial system, those arguments have never really been considered to be quite valid. So I think the big surprise today really would have been if the Supreme Court had found in favor of the NCAA. I think what we're learning today is that the nation is becoming quite a bit more aware that the amateur sham is not a sustainable system at the NCAA level.
Timothy, I know people who watch sports feel really strongly about this many times. For those of us who don't watch as closely, let me ask you this. A lot of fans do not want college sports to be further commercialized. And I guess I just wonder, as a non-sports aficionado, why not make it all professional? I mean, if we're headed down potentially a path of college athletes eventually maybe getting a paycheck or a cut, endorsement deals, free technology, and a college diploma, is there really amateur anymore?
Well, the idea of amateur athletics has, from its inception, always been a way of closing doors to people that were considered undesirable or people that those in power didn't want to have access to the system. People are concerned, with a valid concern, that a shift in the balance of where the money goes could privilege some larger programs or programs with more, deep-pocketed boosters over those that don't. But the reality is that, the programs that are in the college football playoff every year are generally the same programs already under this alleged amateurism system. So the idea that the money isn't there is not really, sort of a valid complaint. The question is, where's that money going now? And that money's going now to administrators, to coaches, to NCAA officials. That money still exists. It's just a matter of redistributing it down from those administrators and coaches to the players who are actually on the field generating that revenue.
If the gripe is that the money is going to administrators, or if your gripe is that the money is going to players who are not truly amateurs, but like semi-professionals, I guess, again, my question is, why not just get rid of that system? Why not just make it all professional?
Well, I think the idea that, college athletes are workers and should be paid was laid out very clearly by Justice Kavanaugh in his concurring opinion. That if someone is doing any activity that's generating revenue for someone else, that is work. And thus they should be compensated in the form that another person doing that job would be compensated, which is to say that at a professional level, they get paid. And at the quote-unquote amateur level, they would also be paid. The amateurism as an idea has never really worked logically. And it took until the year 2021 for us to finally get it down on paper at the Supreme Court that it doesn't really work as an idea.
Timothy Burke, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The pandemic nearly killed the cruise line industry, but it is sputtering back to life now, as long as ships meet the CDC's conditions. 600 volunteer